full-time life and fitness coach with a passion for public speaking and the arts. She recently completed writing her first book because her dad always encouraged her to be a writer. Today she'd like to honor him for the life and legacy that he left for her. Welcome, Ms. Rhonda, with her speech, Dance Like No One Is Watching You.
On November 1st, 2016, as I sat on my dad's hospital bed, we prayed together that God would put peace in his heart. We looked out the window and he said to me, Rhonda, I don't understand how anybody can't believe in God when the sky is so vast and nature is so beautiful. And I said, I don't understand either, but I was just so happy that he had that peace in his heart. I said goodbye to him that day, knowing it would probably be the last time I talked to him in person. Last time I smelled him and hugged him, looked him in the eye. But I was okay with it because my dad left me a lifetime of memories that I will cherish. On November 17th, 2016, my dad passed away from a short bout of cancer. Fellow Toastmasters, today I would like to honor my dad and share with you the legacy he left for me and why I feel I am the most luckiest little girl to have him as my dad. I'd like to share with you 3 things that I value most about him. It was his extraordinary ability to never meet a stranger, his ability to not care at all what people thought of him, to dance as if no one was watching, and lastly, his extraordinary wealth of his family. It's my dad. My dad had this gift of talking to people. It didn't matter if it was a businessman on a train ride to San Francisco, a homeless man, his Egyptian oncologists, the nurses, our friends, anybody. He would talk to everybody because he understood everybody had a story and he wanted to know what it was. My dad didn't think he was better than anyone, nor did he think anyone was better than him. People are people, and everyone had a story and he wanted to know what it was. When I was about 13 years old, I was a huge tomboy and I had a passion for boxing, to watch it and got into that. And I wanted to go to a boxing match in our hometown, and I begged my dad to stand in line with me to get tickets for the boxing match. And my dad didn't care about boxing, but he knew I wanted to go, so got up at the crack of dawn and got in line at 6 a.m. It wasn't long before he had made acquaintances with all the people in front of him in line. By 7:30, he knew everything about the son and dad in front of us. And by 8:30, we weren't even standing anymore. We had formed a circle and he was playing cards with all the people around him. My dad wasn't going to waste the time standing in line. He was going to make friends and learn their stories. Perhaps because he was so interested in people, this kind of gave him the ability to not care what other people thought of him. Sometimes that was an inconvenience when you bought him a gift and he didn't like it and he didn't care. Because my dad liked what he liked, and if he didn't like it, he let you know. But it was his absolute best quality as well, because it was nothing more evident on the day that I got married. I think every little girl dreams of having that father-daughter dance, the typical tearjerker song, but the thing was, mine was quite the contrary. See, when the DJ called my dad and I to come up and dance, he played the wrong song. You can imagine the shock and dismay on my face when he didn't play Stevie Wonder's Isn't She Lovely, but rather a high, up-tempo song. I freaked out. I looked at my dad, and he's like, he didn't care. He probably thought I wanted him to get a good cardio workout, and so we just went with it. We danced. He twirled me. We shook our hips, and the guests laughed. After the song was over, I felt so devastated that the DJ would make a mistake like that. My dad didn't care. In fact, guest after guest came up to us and they said, that was really an interesting song choice that you and your dad did. That was the coolest thing I've ever heard anybody do or sing. And to this day, we still get comments about it. I remember that conversation we had back in November. My dad told me how much he loved his family, and if he could, he would have many more children. See, my parents were married for 53 years. He loved his family more than anything. He loved my mom. They had 5 kids, 11 grandkids, and 1 great-grandchild. You can imagine my dad loved to be a grandpa. He had something special with every grandchild. He celebrated each uniqueness in each child. My youngest son, Jackson, had the privilege of spending summers with my dad. And Jackson is a lot like my dad. He's very much an old soul. He likes to talk. So they would spend the mornings reading the paper, writing, singing songs. My dad taught my son Johnny Cash songs, going for walks together, and just spending time together. One summer, my dad convinced my son to have a lemonade stand because he knew Jackson liked to talk to people, and it wasn't long before he was reeling people in off the streets talking, and my dad was so proud to tell me that my son made more money in 2 hours than I made my entire childhood selling lemonade. So I hope you leave here today and you take these lessons my dad gave me to heart. To never meet a stranger, to be interested in people, to know who you are, that you're not so concerned with what other people think, just to dance as if no one is watching. And lastly, to put your family first. I wear this locket around my neck, my dad and I dancing on one side, and my family on the other, to remind me of this. When I look back to that conversation in November, I'm so happy to know that he is now on the other side of it. I know he's in an absolute beautiful place. I guarantee he's making friends and making people laugh. And I can't wait